live. All right, we should. Hey, welcome everybody. Looks like I'm lagging behind just a little bit. Not sure. It's kind of hard to see what's going on. Anyway, I'm your host tonight as Rusty's in the hospital. And I figured tonight that I would work on my profile. I have to trim it tomorrow, paint it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find some graphics on the internet, and we'll cut some stencils for it, and I'll get it all masked off and get it ready for paint. I've ended up, let's see here, I've ended up getting my primer in from Crest. I'll show that to you. Whoa, about knocked it off. They are super proud of this primer. This primer is a $150 box. And here's the cans right here. But it is good stuff. It's the same as DC 540. It doesn't dry quite as fast. I think it has a little less xylene in it. But I've got 12 cans here. They had a mishap getting it to me. They sent it via Minneapolis instead of where I'm at. But if anybody wants the information on it, I mean, send me a private message on Stunt Hangar, and I'll be able to get you the phone number or website or whatever. Let's see here, Jack Snavely, hello Sparky, good to see you too. Yeah, good to see you. I don't know who's coming in here. Dorn. Your mic on, Dorn?
Yep.
Okay.
Where's everybody else?
I don't know. I just started. It's only been running 1 minute.
Ah. Ah. So how's the new plane coming along?
It'll be done tomorrow.
Did you put any color on it, or just still in primer color?
No, it's white.
It looks gray to me from this. It must be the image.
Yeah, it's white. It's insignia white, bright white.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it might look gray because the lighting in here is not really good.
Mm-hmm.
And,
yeah.
There we go. Anyway, I just thought that I'd start the stream. I'm probably not going to hang out as long as Rusty does. I'll probably only do 11:15 or so, 11:30. I don't know how he can stay on this thing for 3-4 hours at a time, but we don't want to, miss a show. So hopefully some others will come in and join us.
How's Rusty doing?
I don't know.
Mm.
I don't know. He hasn't sent me a message or anything. So he might pop on, if he's feeling well enough, or maybe he's in the hospital. I don't know.
Mm.
I hope everything's going okay.
Yeah, me too. I was on the first page when you enter into this, when you click on a link, and I saw his picture over there. I said, "Oh, is Rusty on already?" I said, "Cool." But when I enter, I thought
just wrong link posted in there.
Yeah,
I do. Okay, so I need to go to. Let's see what. That's the old link. Yeah, that's the old link. I don't know. Friday
Yeah,
7.
it doesn't matter.
I don't know how he does it. I mean, there's so much to do to get ready to do this show. It's unbelievable.
Hmm. It's very nice of him that he's doing all this stuff and try to keep it on track, keep it alive, and have people share whatever.
Let's see, how can I get that? I need to put the correct link in there. So we go here, YouTube. Um, oh, there we are. I might get a little squeal here if I can't catch it quick enough.
Keep it on track. Keep it.
Okay, got it. So we want to share this video. Share. Ah. Charles called me. I told him he'll be in.
Hmm.
Let's see. I'll go here, modify. It's only been read once, so you're the only guy that's looked at it. Okay, where is that? There it is. Trophy. Save. All right, that fixes up that page.
Hmm. So Mark McKinney bought some more material, and after the Nats, we kind of decided to make another wing mold. And this second mold is going to be dedicated for an outboard wing only.
Yeah, I know why you guys did equal panels. You only had to make one mold. You use it on both sides.
Yeah, I mean, it's like even right now, as is, it flies amazing, and so I have, we just want to push it a little bit further out. So since we have all the fuselage molds, the wing molds for one side, and the elevator mold for one side, we decided to go ahead and make a second set of wing molds and a second set of elevator molds. So right now it kind of opens the door to, uh, you spend one day to prep and do the painting and whatever, and second day just mold everything because it doesn't.
How much tip weight are you using right now?
A couple of ounces, I think.
Well, you'll be able to get rid of if you make the inboard wing 1 inch longer, you'll be able to get rid of ounce, and you'll only need a half ounce of wing tip weight.
Yeah, yeah. Randy said somewhere between half an inch and 3/4 of an inch shorter on an outboard wing, and so I made it like 5/8 shorter. So I went kind of in between them, and we have a. He said also the flaps make it about 1/8 of an inch wider at the tip only.
Yeah, that way you don't notice it at the root. That's just like my flaps here.
Uh-huh.
Same
Yeah.
with the root, they're bigger on the tip.
Uh-huh. So with that, I think we expect to have a little bit less tip weight. And yeah, man, I flew at the Georgia contest and I had my ass handed over to me.
Yeah.
I got clobbered. And
What happened?
it's nothing. I just lack practice and I lack coaching and I lack, it's just the model is far better than I will ever be able to fly. I mean, you can do things that I cannot do. I mean, I cannot keep track of it if I try to, go hard on it. But just I think we need a little bit more nose weight, maybe move the battery forward and stuff like that. But the current configuration doesn't allow me to. However, the new nose that we made, we changed um, the center panel in a nose because we have one panel on the parting line, another one in the middle, and the nose ring, right? So basically, like you have like three formers, and the one in the middle we modified it so we can have the battery going through it,
How long is the nose moment?
10 inches or so,
How long is the tail moment?
20 something, 22.
Why did you guys decide to make it that long?
Kind of um, because it gives us a lot more torque.
Could have done that with a bigger elevator.
Uh,
The longer you stretch it out, the smaller the elevator stabilizer can be. The shorter it is, the bigger it has to
True,
be.
yeah. But we kept the elevator identical to what it was on a um, identical. So we kind of plan to use kind of the SV11 elevator. And if you look on the top view of it, it's exactly the same. The airfoil, it's fully airfoiled. So the airfoil is different. The same is with the wing. It's the SV11. If you look from the top, it's the exact same platform, tip cord, the root cord, but the airfoil and everything else is different and has a little bit more wingspan. So we push it from 56 to about 62, and I think we have another, which means what? We have 3 inches extra on each wingtip, so we got more surface area. But overall, Sparky, it just flies beautiful. It tracks nicely because of the longer tail moment. The corner, it's unbelievable. Um, uh, I, c- I'm using maybe 70% of its corner ability, uh, because if I use 100% of it, I cannot keep track of it. I cannot control it. It's so fast I can't stop it on time. So so that's one of the things we can say, it's call it a problem or whatever. It tracks, it locks nicely after each maneuver. I have no issues with it. It penetrates beautifully through the wind, um, especially at the nets when we're flying in those like 12 to 15 mile per hour winds. I just it was punching through it with ease, with absolute ease. No and I still didn't speed it up or do anything to it to just compensate for the wind conditions at all. So I don't know. It's to me, to my liking, and I think it's just unbelievable in the air. You should have flown it at the nets, but I don't know. Maybe next time we go to a contest somewhere, if we see each other, I'll let you fly it if you want to.
I don't really like flying other people's airplanes.
Mm.
Simple practice. If I hit the ground, I gotta build one.
I don't see, I had so many people flying it, and uh, who was that? Uh, Danny Banjak flew it. Samantha Hines flew it. Uh, Pretty much, what's his name? Joe Gilbert flew it. Um, Don, what's his name? He won the Nats last year in advance. Don Guilford, I think. Yeah, I think this is Don Guilford. Guilford is his name. Yeah, he flew it. Uh, Derek Barry, Fitzgerald, they all flew it. I haven't had any negative feedback from anybody. Just like and they just all of them just enjoyed it, and it's easy to fly Spark. It's super easy to fly. It's predictable. It's the easiest plane I ever had you know for myself in Atlas. It's just and I was just having fun with it at the practicing before the contest here in Georgia. And I said, how small of a score 8 can I do? And I think it was like from here to about here. This was the angle. So it's about 20 degrees. I was doing a score 8 in 20 degrees. Actually, I think it was under. I can do an hourglass in 45 degrees elevation. Just pull it, like, go to 45, cut, and just do everything, and it will do it. It just really, it's gonna do anything I want it to do. I just, I need more practice. I need to Anyways, what I took from this contest is that I need to practice, and since I don't have so much time to do it, I need to practice with a purpose. So, what I want to do, my next step is to videotape 4 or 5 flights or something like that, watch the videos and see if there are similarities between them. Like, do I always do this mistake or whatever, and work on a flying style. Hey, Dennis.
Hi guys, how you doing?
What's going
Good.
on?
Yeah, we having we got started here. So
Yeah, I was kind of waiting to see. Kept watching to see when you were posting the link and stuff. So Sparky, looks like you're in base coat, but you haven't. I thought you'd be trimmed out by now.
Tomorrow, I'm doing it. I'm looking as we're talking. I look like I'm looking at you, but I'm not. I'm looking at my program here. I'm trying to cut stencils.
Okay.
Trying to find something to cut that would look good. What I'd rather hear is, terrible.
Mm.
do you have did you pick up a theme for your plane?
Thing.
A theme.
Yeah, I have a theme for it, but it ain't gonna get it.
Okay.
This has to be ready to go for the FCM. So.
Oh, you better get rocking.
Yeah, I know. So it's going to be pretty minimalistic. It's going to be not much.
All right.
When is the FCM?
Next
2 weeks.
weekend. 2 weeks.
No, it's
That's
not
right. 2 weeks. That's right.
I got
plenty of time.
I got this week to finish it, and next week to test fly it.
I think one of the good parts of the profile planes is that you have access to the controls.
Mm-hmm.
So if anything is funny to it, it's so easy to adjust, like a flaps bias or elevator to get a turn equal. It's easy to get access to it. And yeah, the worst thing about vibrations, especially from those big motors.
Open project. No. I think I'm just going to do something that I've already done on one of my other airplanes. Just put it on there and make it quick.
Mm-hmm. There's nothing wrong with that, if to make it look like a one of your full body airplanes. So. The styling on the airplane, is it close to any of your other airplanes?
They're identical. You mean the numbers?
Yeah, I mean just the overall look and everything like that. Do you have a full fuselage airplane that you can just duplicate, make it simple?
Oh yeah, but I don't want to use that much paint. I want to do super quick, minimal paint job. A couple of stripes and that's it. So
red stripe, blue stripe on the fuselage, and then a couple of emblems on the wings, some lettering.
Yeah, that's what
Boom.
I'm looking at the rudder over there, how it just sweeps upwards. I'll just probably make a stripe that sweeps the same way on the rudder, maybe another one underneath it that sweeps the same way up on the rudder, and do the same thing on the wings, because they're just so this curvy shape on it kind of asks for sweeping kind of looking. So I'll do just the same 2 stripes, kind of sweeping and just getting bigger and bigger on the wing, or maybe transition them on the elevator, like they continue from the wing on top of the elevator. And I think that will look nice. Simple. I mean, just
Yeah, I'm a big fan
of all this. Yeah, I have this nice elliptical shapes, on a rudder, and elliptical shape on a wing, and on a fuselage as well, kind of follows the elliptical shape a little bit.
Color.
So might as well just stay with the theme, just make sweeping elliptical shape, on the striping and everything else, kind of. I don't know.
Color.
And then put some script kind of font to it. Nothing like an area, like a squarish. Stay away from those. So if you put square corners on a paint job, put also square corners on the lettering. If you go flowing lines on a paint job, then put flowing lines on the lettering as well. So
I think
you
it's
kind
going
of
to be the same checkerboard that's on this thing, only a little smaller and painted a little different. So I got 4 there.
yeah.
Stunt Hangar twice. I need to take that one away.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Delete.
Your
Nice.
Junar, the plane that Charles was flying on at the Nats.
Yeah.
I think that one is very, very artistic, and it's perhaps some of the hardest um, things to do in a paint job and still find balance and make it look good. Um, Usually, it's pretty simple to do something on a fuselage and copy it on the wings and the elevator and run with it. That's just the easiest way to get a paint job on anything. But when you start to do major changes to it, like having the back of the fuselage white and with the front is red, and just try to find balance with all that stuff, that's hard to do.
Yeah,
Um,
we're not going there on this one.
yeah.
It's going to be. I'll show you here in a second. I'll have these cut out in a minute. And then the picking part, that's the hard part.
Yeah. I was saying this because I know there are a lot of people that when they start to decide on a paint job, they have a tough time, just doing something that looks decent, right? So I was thinking, how would I approach something to make it simple and yet look nice? And the thing is, like our eye loves the patterns. The human eyes and our brain is meant to recognize patterns, right? So if you have a plane and you have something on a fuselage and you find it somewhere else on the wings, it likes that. It just looks pleasing to the human eye because it's like, hey, I see this pattern over here. I also see it on the wing. I also see on the elevator. Oh, this looks good because you recognize the pattern. It doesn't matter what the pattern is, really, as long as it's a pattern of some sort. Um, then so and and generally, if I try to do a pattern on a wing and try to put it on a fuselage, pain in the freaking ass, right? So I found it is far easier to do something on a fuselage first and then try to transpose that on the wings. It's a lot easier to do that. And so because of that, like for somebody that has a tough time trying to find a paint job scheme for his plane, he'll probably start on a fuselage, then transpose it to the wing, from the wing to the elevator. And I think that's the easiest way to get any kind of paint job that's going to look balanced and nice and stuff like that. So but that's my opinion, right? And you probably have 100 people going to have 100 different opinions. But for somebody that doesn't has a tough time doing a paint job of any sort, I think this is the easier way to approach it. So and there's some other tricks to it. It's like I believe if you have a paint job with like square corners and stuff like that and sharp angles, then also do the lettering with the same thing, like sharp angles and stuff like that. You don't want to put a square corners and sharp angles and then put a script kind of, handwritten kind of lettering on a plane, because they just don't talk to each other. And you can also balance that with the shape of the plane. If you have a plane with straight edges and straight lines on it and stuff like that, probably the paint job is going to look very good also with the straight edges and straight lines. So like I was looking at your planes.
I don't normally have any problem doing paint jobs. They just come right out of my head and bang.
How you doing, Lynn?
I'm doing well. How are you guys?
Hanging in there. Hanging
Good
in there.
stuff.
We're just all coaching Sparky in how to paint his airplane here. So,
I don't think that's going to work so well.
Nah,
yeah,
nah. I'm not trying to coach. I was just talking
Well,
in general more,
yeah.
like general guidelines for somebody that would not has a tough time finding a good paint scheme for their plane.
You know,
Yeah.
I say,
I have that. I resemble that remark about having a difficult time coming up with a paint scheme. I mean, I have a very difficult time doing that. But I have another question is like I have plans, so I have a side view of the fuselage. I like Tyron's idea of doing a fuselage first, but my fuselage is the plans. I mean, so I have all the bulkheads, the formers. I mean, all this stuff is in the way. I mean, do you guys just draw over that, or what do you do when you want to come up with an idea? I think it'd be better if it was all white.
just take a picture of it. Take a picture. So take a picture of it first, right? And
Okay.
that enlarge it on a piece of paper, right?
right.
And print it out and print the plans out, right? And now that you print it out and you have a pretty accurate side view of everything, where the wings in and everything else, you can easily just take some markers and put something on it, right? Until you find something that you really like. And once you like that, that's easy to do the same thing for your wings and see and get a feel for it, right?
Right.
So
I'm just wondering if there's a way to take out all the lines on my plans. I mean, what kind of software would I use to
there's
just
no
clean it all
software.
up?
Take a picture. Charles,
I-
take a picture. Take a picture of the plan with your camera, right?
Okay. Right.
And print it out on your printer with a white piece of paper.
Well, it's going to be a picture
Okay.
of the same forms and bulkheads. I don't understand the advantage of that.
Well, it's because you don't care about the bulkheads and stuff like that. All you care about is the outline, right?
That's what I do. I
Okay,
just draw a
that's-
small sketch with an outline. Yeah. And then just
Yeah.
then take pencil crayons and draw the inside, whatever colors you want.
Yeah, I mean, just ignore the outline. I mean, you don't care about. I mean, use the outline, but you just ignore the forms and everything else.
Yeah. You could use the full
Okay.
plan, but I just make a small plan on a small piece of paper on an 8.5 by 11.5.
Yeah.
I'll show you.
So we want to jump that.
So really, Charles, whatever you come up on and if you look at your plane, Is this squarish? Has like straight lines and stuff like that? Then make the paint job with straight lines as well. If it's does it look like an Aries with the flowing lines and stuff like that? You probably want to have a paint
Right
job
now-
with flowing lines as well.
It's a Strega. So I don't know if you know what a Strega looks like, but it's Strega.
Yeah, no. Yeah. So pretty much straight lines over there.
Just a square brick.
Yeah. So if it's a Strega, then you have straight lines. So try to make like a paint job that has straight lines and everything like that. So
All right.
you just look on the side view of your fuselage and do something on it, right? Whatever, right? And whatever you have on a fuselage, try to imitate it, put it on the wings on the elevator, and you're gonna be right there. And then since you have straight lines, use some kind of a Arial bold kind of for your lettering, because it's also
Right.
square and line, so they all match and they all go together, right? It's
Right.
as simple as that. I mean, so you
Okay.
just follow just simple rules, and you can get there. This should be fairly easy to do that. Now, if you plan to do some panel lines and stuff like that on it, have them make sense, right? If you ever look on a real plane, you have a leading edge that kind of wraps around the wing. Then you have some a trailing edge, perhaps, right? Then you have the main panels, maybe a spar over there, right? They all have a spar in the center, right? So
Yeah.
you might want to have a panel that goes over the spar, from the spar to the trailing edge. and just maybe add the hatch here and there. Just have them make sense. Okay.
Mhm.
You don't want to have too many lines, go nuts on them. You just want to have, as long as it makes sense, it looks like they belong on a plane, you're good to go.
Yeah, I think I will absolutely second what he just said, what Trian just said. I've seen too many of them. The panel lines, they just kind of go across, join something else, and then they'll jump over and go across someplace else, and then
Yeah.
they'll go. This one, the next one goes at an angle or something like that. It's like, what in the heck were you thinking? How in the world did you make that? You're the guy in the machine shop responsible for folding the metal on that airplane. I mean, you're going to want us to kill somebody by the time you're done with that thing.
I don't know what the best one was I saw. The guy had a template, a drafting template for houses,
Uh,
and he had a toilet.
The terrible. Oh, jeez.
That's awesome.
why not? Why not? Well, that's one way you can tell. You'll find out if anybody's actually paying attention. But
Yeah.
Some people don't
Or
know that
another
that's a toilet.
And another thing I see them doing, right? They have this, like if you look at the panel lines, they make these hatches, right? They kind of fold like this, and they put these hatches, 3 or 4 of them on a wingtip, and you start scratching your head, like, why in the world did you
What was
have
he thinking?
a 3 folding thing that would be folding out and it's on a wingtip? I was like, why would you put it there? What in the world can be around the wingtip that requires this huge hatch that opens? And you have hatches that open like that over the fuselage, all over the fuselage, all over the nose. I mean, just you go nuts over there. Right?
All hatches.
Exactly, and it's like it doesn't make any sense, right? I mean,
I don't know.
just
One
have
of
it.
the best things I remember way back when one of the old classic flyers, a gentleman named Jim Kostecki. He was one of the early
Yes.
adopters of the line work and the lettering and everything like that. And I remember going over one of his airplanes, reading this, reading that, service here, service there, and everything. And there, down by the tail, he put something. What are you reading this for?
I love it.
In perfect 1/16 inch tall Gothic, letter said, "What are you reading this
Why
for?"
are you reading it?
Yeah,
That's awesome.
it was like a real in your face kind of thing.
Yeah, like
But,
like real. And you're standing there
yeah.
going, "Yeah, what am I reading this for?"
Yeah, that's it.
And he put it, yeah, and he put it on the tail of all things, so probably the
Well,
last
that's
thing when
it.
you're gonna
It was
go
like
to, right?
it was like on right by it was actually on the fuselage, right by this, like under the stab. I mean, you couldn't see it accidentally. You had to go looking for it, and so
Joke is
I
on you.
thought, I thought that was perfect.
Awesome.
So
Yeah.
anyhow, hey, best quote of the week. Grab your computer by the throat and choke the data out of it.
Perfect.
You guys,
Rusty's here.
yeah, did you read that? Rusty, you're the man.
Yes.
He lives to play another day.
You are absolutely the man. Grab the computer and choke the data out of it. Don't let it give you any trouble. How appropriate was that?
I don't take no shit off of no machine.
Like I said, you're my hero.
That's what I tried to tell technicians when I was training them back in my office machine days. Somebody say, "Well, I can't figure this out," or "I can't figure that out." I said, "Look, don't take no shit off of any damn machine. Show it his boss. Just reach in there and work, grab it."
That's
I'll
it.
be back, guys.
Okay, I think
I'll be back.
he's gonna start drawing his outlines for his next paint scheme there. That's right. Yeah.
How's everybody tonight?
There you go.
Yeah, real good. Real good. Had kind of a goofy week here. I went a week ago. long and short of it, I ended up buying a new car. And then one day after I bought the car, my furnace went out.
Oh no, it's always the way.
Yeah, that's it. It's a 20-year-old furnace. Do I service it? Yeah, right. So
Mhm.
this week I bought a new furnace. Yeah.
Ouch.
So far
Now
the
you're
month
really
of
broke.
August, and now the month of August is the most humongously expensive month I've had in a very long time. So
Wow.
It's a,
so
you know,
Rich to broke in 1 month.
that's it. That's it. It's like I'm afraid to see what's next. But
you know what? In Romania, we have a saying. It said, "Trouble doesn't come by itself. It
yeah.
brings his buddies too, right?"
Well,
So if you
wasn't
get
there
trouble,
something?
you don't get just one.
Trouble comes in threes or something like that.
Yeah, something like that
Yeah.
one. Trouble
Yeah.
comes in threes.
So you got two.
You got two,
I
and there's
got at
still
least.
one to go.
Yeah, and it's only August 9th. I mean, come on.
That's right. You still got 21 days.
Here comes a whole new roof now.
That's I actually had the roof replaced last year, so that's probably all right. But I
Probably
don't
And
know.
how's your washing machine, Dennis? Is it new or old?
It's 2 years old. So
You're okay there.
yeah,
Okay,
well,
that too.
no guarantee. There ain't no guarantees, pal. So
Yeah.
Rusty
Don't think
sleeping
about
now.
any of your other appliances. We won't go there.
that's right. That's right.
I remember one September when Holly got up to pour herself a cup of coffee. It was on the morning of her birthday. Walked into the kitchen when it was in her up to her ankles in water because the dishwasher drain line water
it let
feed
loose.
line had popped loose. So
Oh no.
Oh man.
20 inches.
Well, you've been having a rough drought. But July, I guess, is a rough month for you. So
yeah, boy, I tell you,
Oh,
I'm
August
tired.
can only be better for you, Sparky.
or,
Or I mean, Rusty.
yeah.
You're right. As far as I know, I don't have a broken bone in my body right now. That's a new thing for me.
That's awesome.
And how
Just
how
got to
goes the
strengthen up
recovery?
the other ones.
Yeah.
You know, I was all dramatic the other night. It actually turned out to move along faster than I expected yesterday, and they sent me home. They sent me home last night, so I got home about 10 o'clock. But
How you
still
feeling tonight?
tired, but otherwise okay. I'm starting to get where I can move my left arm a little bit more every time I use it now. I've got it in a sling, but not that same big old one that I've been wearing for the past 2 weeks. And
Right.
got a screw straight down in it. And you're right, Steve. They did give me a nerve block. And that's part of why I was able to get in and out so fast, because they didn't have to give me full anesthesia. They gave me a
Oh,
nerve
that's good.
block and then just sedated me a little and put me to sleep. And I slept through the whole thing.
Well,
But
I'll be praying for you there, Rusty. Hopefully things will get better this time.
thanks.
Yeah,
I just
you're
got
due for a winning streak here. So
yeah, I am. I am. And I've got to get that stamina back up. I've been, got to try starting to walk laps around the house, and now I can make about 3 circuits, and I live in a small house. I can make about 3 circuits between the den, living room, dining room, and kitchen, and then I have to sit down for a few minutes, and so yeah, I get winded pretty easily. But,
well, every day, every step you take, try to take one more the next day.
yeah,
Just go out one step a day if you can.
I've done it before. Yeah, I'll do it again.
So,
Okay, let her rip.
What we got going on here?
Noise. It's too noisy. I can turn my mic down. You guys still there?
I hear you. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I
Getting
hear.
some background noise here for something. Maybe that's gone.
I can't. I shut it off. You guys go ahead.
Yeah.
Or- So are you making your templates now? Your mask? Okay. See, little pep talk from the hangar hangout crew, and you're set to
All
go.
ready to roll.
That's it.
I'm doing a little experiment right now. This is the new fuselage I have.
All right.
Nice.
This is the wing from the other plane, and in this case, just an outboard wing. And
Look at that.
Like it was made for it.
9
Mhm.
o'clock. I just told him. I just sent him a text. Doug.
bam, locked in. I think the lock pins needs a little bit of adjustment. There you go.
Terrific.
Perfect fit.
That's great.
I'll live with this. So these are really interchangeable parts now.
Mm-hmm.
And
Well,
yeah, and I did not put this wing on to glue this the hard
Mhm.
points in place. They're just glued completely separate from this.
yeah, you must have some kind of a fixture or something like that to make sure they're all the same, though, don't you?
Yeah, I made the fixture that also
Yeah.
glues the gear block in place.
Mm-hmm.
And on this gear block, if you see over there, I have like a little block of wood,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a little 440 knot underneath it. So the idea is that I'm going to put a screw with a washer on this side and use that for to lock the landing gear, because it's not exactly perfect on the other
Mhm.
one. And I said I don't want to have the landing gear just slide out in the middle of the flight, which just have some crazy thing going. It never happened until now, but I have cases when it slides up a little bit, and after a few takeoff and landings, but I just want to get rid of that. So yeah, but this is just a perfect fit right now.
Looks awesome.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And actually, if you run your finger here over this line, it's a perfect match.
Mm-hmm.
Really, you can barely feel anything over there.
That's great.
So yeah, this is gonna work great for me. I think I'm gonna take
Well,
it.
you have a big investment in all your setups and tools and everything like that, but that's the payoff when you can start making interchangeable parts and service it and keep campaigning an airplane like that, duplicate it, repair it, whatever.
Yeah, and actually for us, it's probably easier to just take another part than try to repair something if it's
Yeah.
too major. And
Mhm.
the thing is, like, I was at the Nats and I took Mark McKinney's nose, I put it on my plane, locked it in. I could have just put the controls on it because he uses the same batteries, and the same motor combination. Everything is identical in his nose. I could have put a battery in there and just go fly it with his
Mhm.
nose on, and probably
Mhm.
wouldn't see any difference at all.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this is going to be really great.
Tryon, it looks like you're going to be able to interchange parts from one plane to the other too, if you wanted to.
We are able to do it right now.
Yeah,
Mhm,
like
mhm.
in other words, if you're not liking the way something's working on one airplane, but it is on the other, you can interchange them between the ships to see what you like better.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like you probably. And by the way, we are just building a new wing mold. This is going to be a slightly different wing mold. It's going to be a little bit less wingspan, and the flaps is going to be just tweaked a little bit. So that mold is going to be used for the outboard wing.
Mhm.
Oh, that's good.
And
That's awesome.
Since we have two molds, one for the inboard, one for the outboard wing, and we just have one for the elevator, we decided also to go ahead and make another elevator mold as well.
Mhm. Mhm.
Okay.
So the method to our madness is that in day one we cut everything, we paint everything, prep everything, right? Day 2, we mold everything, and it takes roughly 20 minutes to 35 minutes, 40 minutes maximum to put a panel in a bag and put it on the side. So with that, you have 2 fuselage sides, 2 nose, 4 panels for the wings, 4 panels for the elevator. So technically, in one day, one long day, I think you're looking at 8-10 hours worth of work nonstop, maybe even more.
That's
But
phenomenal.
you pull through and you have every single part molded, right? And
Oh.
next day you can just spend the day just joining the panels. You join the wing panels, and again, every operation takes about half an hour or so. So you join the fuselage, that's half an hour. You join the nose, that's another half an hour, and the 2 elevators 1 hour, 2 wings 1 hour, fuselage another hour, with the nose, right? So looking about 3-4 hours worth of work there.
It's just so different from what we traditionally see as building a model airplane.
Yep.
Yeah, this is the next generation for sure. It's not.
Yeah.
This is what I'm doing here is the same step that the glider guys did it a few years ago when they went to composite
Yeah.
models, and once they did that, they never looked back.
Yeah.
So
Hey, Rusty. It's really
looks
good to
tired.
see you. It really good to see you. But you know what? Go get some rest. Go
Yeah,
get some rest, my friend.
oh
So
well.
It's good to see you. I'm glad you showed up, and we see that you're still kicking.
I'm,
that's
Yeah,
Looking pretty good.
a good
I'm,
night's rest would be good.
yeah. You're starting.
I'm,
You're starting to look like Lenny there. What can I say? So.
I'm hoping if I sit here with you guys for a few minutes, I'll perk up. Just give me a chance. If I'm
All
still
right.
if I'm still nodding off in 15
Yeah.
minutes, then I'll
You've
take
been
your advice.
you've
Yeah,
been
don't
through a
do
heck
the
of a
Len. You're
lot.
liable to bang your head on the computer.
Yeah. That's it.
Kid.
That's it. That's it. No, I
I'm
absolutely
just,
love that molded. If you're gonna campaign, I mean, really campaign a stunt plane and everything like that, which means flying, practicing, servicing, flying, practicing, everything like that. Having the ability to replace, great big parts of it, or
and interchange is
duplicate the
just
airplane
phenomenal.
completely. Yeah, yeah, that's it. That's it. That's so what Trian's doing there is just absolutely fabulous. To be in that position. So
Mhm.
Yeah,
so
I'm jealous.
indeed.
Yeah,
So
this has been just a wonderful project. But
mm,
even when we started this project, this was one of my goals: interchangeable
mhm,
parts.
sure.
So everything I made, everything I planned, and everything I just did was towards that end from
Hmm.
that point on. And a lot of things are interchangeable because the locks in the nose are the same locks I'm using in the wings. Uh, I have common parts, right? So
Hey, just a quick curiosity question. I've noticed a lot of the airplanes they have a joint in the fuselage. It seems to me that there's like yours is joined at the nose and everything like that. There seems to be quite a few of them that are joined at the tail or behind the wing. Any advantage
yeah,
or disadvantage one way or the other as far as you can tell?
I think they do it because they want to ship it in a smaller box. So I think that's the
Yeah,
general direction in which they go.
yeah,
Is
yeah.
the
But
ship?
some put that joint. They're two pieces. Some put the joint in the front like you did. Some put the joint in back. I guess I was
Yeah.
just wondering if they thought there was any reason to do one or the other. So.
Uh, if you put the joint on the back, then for sure you're gonna have a smaller box to carry it, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the number one advantage, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then you start to look at disadvantages, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what are the disadvantages? When you take it in and out, you have to disconnect the push rod, right?
Right.
So you have to disconnect the push rod from the bell crank horn or from somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
And that's that. Now you look at disadvantages in other places. Now you need a hatch for the battery, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that adds more complexity and more weight to
Okay.
the overall thing. So other than having a better way to transport it, everything else is more of a disadvantage to me.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
By having this, just the control horns are attached here. You never have to take them up, remove them, requalify them, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
If you have them like this, they are always connecting inside here. I don't disconnect anything from over there. They're also always connected in here as well.
Mm-hmm.
So there's nothing to disconnect. The only thing I disconnect when I take the nose off is because the accelerometer is inside. I just disconnect this little plug,
Mm-hmm.
the server plug. And
Yeah.
if that goes bad, I can just clip off the ends and just put a new one in there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Okay.
that's the only thing. So
Mm-hmm.
so that was the method for my manners. And I said if I have this sideways like this, then I can nest the wings on above it and below it. So the box is kind of very narrow. It's about this thick. So I can, in 5.5 inches and about 16 inches wide, about this long, I can fit the whole plane.
Yeah.
So it's not exactly big, a huge box. It's still small. It's more like a suitcase kind of box. It's a lot flatter,
Yeah.
smaller. It's not
Yeah.
this big fat things,
Mhm.
right?
Do you routinely disassemble the airplane like every time you go to the field and stuff, or do you just like partially disassemble it to get it back in the car and things like that?
Actually, as big as it is, it fits in my car just fine.
Just
Yeah.
one piece.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I have a Honda Civic, so
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's awesome.
what I do, I just go, when you open the door, you get the tail in first, right? Then rotate
Yeah.
it like that, and the wingtip goes in between the back seat and the front seat on a something
And of
weird is
course,
going
if
on.
all else fails, we can mold a new part. So.
Do you know how many times I took the plane? I was going somewhere in a car or something like that. I just took the tail, I just went bam.
Yeah.
So many times. You know what? It's still fine. It doesn't have a scratch.
Mm-hmm.
It's so stiff. It is so stiff and so hard over
Yeah.
there. It's just like nothing.
Yeah.
So
Hey, while we were talking here, while we were showing, looks like Mike joined us. Hello, Michael.
What's going on,
Hey.
fella?
Hey, Mike.
How you doing, Lynn? Charles, Marky?
All
Hey,
good.
Mike.
What have you been up to?
Getting the kids back to school. Today was the first day of school.
Okay.
Oh my. Okay.
Busy.
On a Friday?
Yeah, a half day today. Orientation, getting the
Mm-hmm.
bus route out and stuff. But haven't. We went to Canton, Georgia, 4 weeks ago. We flew PA on Sunday. Well, I did. Sam did. He was it went pretty good. I took second in advance there, coming in.
Good for you.
Ron Aldrin again, same guy I've been chasing all damn summer.
Still chasing them.
Well, they gave appearance points in advance, and I didn't get them. And he got 18.
Mm-hmm.
I was 18 points down right off the bat.
Okay.
But while I was there, I knew Randy Smith was coming, so I called him before and I had him bring me a Intrepid XL kit, and I'm gonna this winter. The pipe probably gonna put a 6105 in it, but I'll have a BOM model and I start getting appearance points anyway.
That's good. Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the plan. Yeah, I really wanted an SV11, but he didn't have any kits made up, so it was either the Intrepid
So
or the what are the other two? He's got Dreadnought and Juno.
Intrepid, I think it's a little bit better than the SV11. Yeah, Intrepid came after the SV11. Actually, it was the next one.
Yeah, it's the same wing.
And
The SV wing.
yeah.
So,
What he did, he moved the tail backwards a little bit on that one. On Intrepid,
Okay.
he moved the horizontal back a little bit, which I think it's a good thing. Yeah. Dennis, did you ever see this?
Hang on a second here. Did I ever see which?
This. So let's see.
I don't know what you're showing me here. I haven't seen your airplane at all, except obviously pictures and stuff.
This is another advantage of using this setup.
Mm-hmm.
When the nose comes off, it's very easy to put the battery inside.
Cool.
So you literally take the nose off every single time for battery changes.
Yeah.
Wow. I would have never thought of that in 100 years. Yeah.
I only take the nose off mine when it's a really bad day.
I'm with Lenny on that. So
So the idea was that since I want to make it like a take apart, make it shorter, and I said I can break it off wherever I want to. So I said this is going to be the best place to put it, just right in the nose. And then I was pondering with the idea of making a hatch for the battery or whatever, put a hatch on the bottom or on the top so I can take the battery in and out. And I said, you know what? I can just take the nose off and just put it back on.
Slide it right in. You don't even see it. That's awesome.
Exactly. So so what I do with the battery just slides right in, and the connector is here, and the battery connector is on the same side. So I just connect them both and
close it up, and away you go.
And I connect this to the other one, which is here, like that. And really, it just takes me about, it doesn't take much to change the battery. I mean, just like it's half a turn, you can take the nose off in 10, 15 seconds or so, just you disconnect the battery, you slide it out, put the next one in, reconnect the battery, put your wires, then you come like this and you connect the wires here. Let's say it's something like this. I'm connecting them right now. So this is about how much time it takes me to go from. So if the battery would be inside right now, that's it. It's ready to fly.
That's amazing. Now, did you make the hardware? Did you make the half turn disconnects?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I made everything for them. They're like a IKEA furniture kind of thing. They're round, and it's a hole inside of them. That's not in the center. It's offset, right?
Right.
So the pin goes in here. So as you rotate, it pulls it in and locks it in place.
Wow, that's amazing.
What you doing, Spark? You cutting up some letters or something?
Yeah, I got to get my airplane taped up so I can paint it tomorrow.
Looks like that sky blue monocoat I used on my Osprey a few years ago. Is that monocoat you're cutting them out of?
No.
Vinyl?
Vinyl. That's what
vinyl, vinyl mask.
Yeah.
Paint mask.
Hey,
monocoats hell on knife blades. I remember cutting letters out and going through about 10 knife blades before I got a full string of letters. That's part of the problem with having a 7-digit AMA number.
You'll notice I'm not cutting, I'm just picking.
So, Sparky, are you? I think you said you were trying out a new primer on this one, replacements for your DC 540.
I got it.
Are you happy with it?
Yep. That was given to me by one of the guys. I can't remember, never can remember the guy's name. It was given to me.
Bonnie.
What's
Jim
that?
Vanny? Jim Vanny is, or?
Yeah. This is the primer here. It's pretty pricey. I spent $150 on a case, but
That's right.
it works. Oh,
Did you post something on Stunt Hangar about what you were using, or are you going to wait until you're all done?
I did not post anything on Stunt Hangar about it.
Okay. Okay, that's why I couldn't find it then. I went back today. I was looking for your 540 thread, and I thought you might have posted the replacement that you were trying, but I didn't see anything in it. So, okay, that's why. So.
And I want to make sure that it's going to work.
Mhm.
I mean, it's got the same chemicals as DC 540. It does not dry quite as fast because I think there's less xylene in it.
Okay.
All right.
Anybody going to Paducah next weekend?
I have never been to that one. Not me.
Sparky going
No,
to Paducah?
forever.
No, too far.
Too far.
Biggest problem with that, don't even know how many years it's been on the same date as a contest up in Detroit,
Right.
and they just keep, Bob McDonald in the weeks, the Wayne Signal Seekers, I guess it is club. They put on a nice little meet there, and they're on the same date, the same 2 days. You've been like that forever, and nobody wants to change. And it's like, we're kind of in the middle here. I'm closer to Detroit, but it's not crazy. It wouldn't be crazy far to go to Paducah. And some of the guys like Alan Goff has gone. He's like almost dead center between the two. And I guess he kind of flips a coin which one he's going to go to on a year-to-year basis. But
Well, I'm the same. I go to Paducah, but when I'm up here, I'll go to Detroit. I'm not sure I'm going to go to Detroit this year because I got to get.
I didn't know they had.
Well, you're going to be painting, so.
Yeah.
Or painting and trimming. I hope you're trimming by then.
Yeah.
I didn't know they still had stunt contests in Detroit. I go up there to fly combat at Rouge twice a year.
Yeah. They don't do anything at Rouge. Just like say the Wayne signals, Wayne, Michigan Signal Seekers. He used to fly out at Eloise.
Yeah.
The RC club that flew out there.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the same site, and they let them put on a control line meet once a year. So.
My dad used to go out there. We used to go out there in the '70s and watch pylon racing way back in the day.
Yep.
And
Yep.
Eloise, that's right up on Michigan Avenue. That's
right.
about 3 miles from. My mom lives at Wayne Road and Ford Road. So
she can almost hear it from there. Yeah.
So who flies up there? What stunt guys run that there?
Well, Bob McDonald and Kurt Nixon basically anchor it. Bob is the vice president of Pampa. Kurt Nixon was the assistant event director for several Nats.
Okay.
So they got their chops that way. And then some of the other people in the area are Randy Ryan, who has he's actually quit flying control line because he was had some real serious neuropathy in his hands. He couldn't properly feel the handle anymore to fly right. So he's kind of gotten out of that. But he's one of the organizers. He hosts a big party on Saturday night. He's got a big backyard. We get together and fly a little in his backyard while he's serving up roasting hot dogs and stuff like that. The usual things, sitting around telling lies and all that kind of stuff, and somebody flying in the back and everything like that. So
cool.
It's a pretty. All in all, it's a pretty nice little thing. You may remember from way back when Rick Sawicki. He and his dad were carrier flyers in the 60s and 70s. A little bit of radio. Don't know that they got involved very much at the Rouge Park gang or not, but he's usually out there. So
yeah, I mean,
anyhow,
I'm a contest, but you know, Paducah's 2 hours for me. So
Yeah, well,
2
that's
hours
yeah.
versus
Well, yeah, it'd be like what 8 or 10 for you, wouldn't it, to get to Detroit?
I can do it in 8.5.
Yeah,
The long.
yeah.
It's a shame
That's a
though.
long haul for a weekend.
It's a shame they don't still fly stunt combat and carrier all together to cruise anymore. You know.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah. I know.
yeah,
Let me
We're
ask you
having
a
our big
question.
contest this weekend.
here you go, Dennis. This is what's inside that
Wow.
the
Mhm.
locking
Oh,
mechanism, right? So what's going
That's
on?
amazing.
This
Mm.
pin
it's like
over here.
IKEA fittings.
So this pin over here goes like this
Mhm.
through a
It's a
hole,
camp.
through the hole, and when you
Right.
rotate it, it just pulls it in and
It
locks it in,
locks.
right?
Yeah.
And the O-ring that you see here on the top of it
Mhm.
has, has a two purposes actually. The one of them is just to hold it in position so it's not going to unscrew itself after you lock
Mhm.
it in. And even if it does, it's going to stop to a point where you have maybe a little bit of slop in here. As soon as you have a little bit of slop in between these two elements, it's going to stop. It's not going to rotate no more.
Mhm.
And the second reason for it is that when you have it on a plane, it stays in a lock position or open position, wherever it is, right?
Mhm.
Because once you take it off, it's open, right? So you put it
Mhm.
back on. So it doesn't fall out, it doesn't fly out there, it doesn't do any of that stuff, right? So it stays in position without, you can shake it all you want, it's not going to fly out there. And this will be something easy to lose. And inside the nose, what you see over there, this is like
Okay.
Mhm.
an aluminum casing inside of it. It's like a cup, like a bowl, right?
Mhm.
And then that's what's in there. So what happens is the pin goes through the hole
Mhm.
like that. You see that?
Mhm.
And then the
I see that.
rotating element that just grabs it and just pulls it in. So it just basically just as it locks, it just also
Yeah,
pulls
the
things
twist
together.
pulls it tight.
So that's how this thing
Wow.
works. And
Just like an IKEA fitting.
so I just
That's it. I'm gonna have to go to my IKEA store. Oh wait,
no
closest one is 2 hours away. So
those are not good. Those are
yeah,
too weak for
Those are
what
too
they
big,
yeah.
use.
too big.
This is
That's
a
a
70.
beautifully engineered system, Trian.
Yeah.
Let me ask. I
And
want to
here's
ask.
an explanation for you. Here's like a demonstration for you. Take the
Mhm.
battery,
Yep.
slide it in. Simple as that. And connect.
Mhm.
So you just connect it. And what I do, I just put this wire inside like that and just slide this
Mhm.
up.
Sounds
There
good.
you go.
Yep.
And I connect this to the other side and I'm good to go. That's it.
Mhm.
And to remove it, you just obviously you saw this,
Yeah.
just take the nose off. It takes you like 15 seconds. After that, you just take this off. Battery comes out. You're ready to put another battery in. You back
Mhm.
up and flying in 30 seconds if you want to. So
Wow.
Wow.
so this is the method to my madness. So when I chose to put the parting line here, actually the thought was that hey, I can also slide the battery in there as well at the same time. So
Mhm.
it
Mhm.
just made more and more sense to just put the parting line here in the front of the fuselage. It simplifies some things, complicated a little bit on the other side, and but not much.
Mhm. Mhm.
So what I did on the new one, you see the former in front here in the center.
Mhm.
There's not much room in the center over there, so the battery actually bottoms out against it over
Mhm.
there. The new one has a bigger hole in there, so the battery can slide through it, and so I can move it a little bit more forward.
Okay.
Because I think I need to move the CG4 about 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch maximum, um, just to get it to track a little bit easier in the loops. That's all I need.
Mhm.
Other than that,
I want to ask somebody who knows. Mike was talking about the Canton contest. little while ago, and Will Davis was telling me what a great place it is to go. And I told Holly about it, and we got to talking. She had been talking to somebody at either Triple Tree or Huntersville, and she had heard it referred to as Helen, Georgia. Is that the same thing? Do y'all know? Is Canton, Georgia, near any place called Helen, Georgia?
Helen, Georgia. It's not in Canton. It's about roughly a couple of hours away um, from Canton. Actually,
Is
from
there
my
a
place.
contest in Helen?
No, there's no contest in Helen. But I think the master plan was to take the ladies and go have fun,
Oh,
kind of thing, right?
yeah,
And it's a
yeah.
beautiful
She
place.
did
It's
say
up in the
something
mountains.
about
Yeah.
the taking the women out to wherever they wanted to
The
do it.
ladies did a day trip on Friday.
That's okay. That's where the Helen part came from.
And
Then,
it's a very pretty place. It's almost like you can Germanish kind of looking place
yeah.
in Helen. Yeah, have those houses with a bunch of German theme, Holland, like the way the
Okay,
houses are decorated back in that side of Europe.
good. Okay, that answers my question. Then I was trying to put the two together and figure out what the relationship between Canton and Helen was. So that's it.
Yeah.
That sounds like a pretty good plan. I think we're going to put that on our rotation for next year.
Yeah. So, okay, I'm gonna take myself over the presentation. I'm telling you all my secrets now.
Yeah, but
Yeah, we
I
just
can
don't know
make
how
it.
to. We just don't know how to make that work. That's all. But yeah, amazing.
Oh,
Yeah.
and by the way, the spin that I use over there, the barrel and the cup on which the barrel sits inside, these three components weigh about 3 grams altogether.
Oh,
Wow.
So, for the adding the take apart system, on the nose area, I think I spend another 7-8 grams or so just to make these two pieces take apart. And the wings, yeah, you can put another 3 sets over there, 6 sets over there. Another 20-25 grams, less than an ounce or so, anyways, to take the wings in and out.
Well, Tryon, how have you kept the stud from coming out?
What?
What kind of precautions have you made to make sure that stud does not pull out?
Oh, I use a very light Loctite kind of material.
Lock that
So,
into like a brass insert or a threaded insert?
yeah.
So that screws into a threaded insert that's epoxied into the wood? Or does it go into a blind nut? I mean, what are you keeping it? How are you keeping it from being pulled out?
Well, I put a little bit of Loctite over them here. I just
Right,
put a little
and
bit of. Once you
that
set it, you
Loctite,
don't need to move them.
but what keeps that from being pulled out still? To make it be intact, the Loctite work, and what keeps that other female part in the airplane?
Yeah, but look in here. This is one part that holds the wings in place. Is this spar material? So this spar material is threaded and tapped on,
exactly.
and precision.
Okay.
Yeah, once you screw it into there, it's not coming out.
Yeah, I mean, just if you want to do that, yeah. Here's an example. See that?
No, I see that Dennis or someone's legs.
You see it now?
Just a minute.
Now we see. No,
All right,
see the
now,
legs again. Nice legs, Tryon. Oh, it's Dennis.
Are his legs talking? Is that why we're seeing his legs? His legs
Yeah, we're looking at Dennis's legs.
Dennis, they're laughing at you. Punch them.
That's better.
So in a wing case, I have this spar piece, right? You see that? That spar piece?
Okay, yeah.
And that's fastened inside, is glued inside the fuselage perfectly in position. And what I do after that, I just put this inside like this,
Okay. All right.
and you can time it, so you can screw it in until you get the correct lock, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I follow.
And I just have some of the Loctite. That's the light one. It's not a
The
permanent
blue?
Loctite. It's the weakest of them, right?
Yeah, the blue one.
Just so that it won't spin.
Blue.
Yeah, so it's not gonna spin out by itself. It's gonna
Exactly.
just wherever you set it is gonna stay there, right? But
Yeah,
now
my
if I
concern
have
was
a
mostly the female part, not the male part. I was concerned with the female part, but I understand. I saw that hardware that's not going anywhere, but I was more concerned with the female part.
yes, yeah. So basically, the spar is the female part. Is this block of
Yeah,
the crosses all the way across.
right.
And I guarantee you, this is a lot. This stuff here, it's a lot stronger than a piece of balsa wood.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
very cool.
So
Lynn,
Very
what
nice.
you been doing for fun lately? You
and
been getting any decent weather up yonder?
so
Who's that for, Rusty?
That was for Lynn.
Oh yeah. Well, our weather's been amazing lately. We flew 4 or 5 days in a row last week, and our big contest is tomorrow and Sunday.
Are you ready for it?
Well, as ready as I'm going to be. I don't know if I'll be flying or if I'll be running events. We'll just have to see how many come.
Yeah. You're gonna take your Nobler, and you've got also
No, the new Cardinal.
the
My
Cardinal.
new
Yeah,
Cardinal.
I couldn't think of the other plane you had.
Did I show you guys that plane? I think some of you have seen it.
I've seen
Yellow
some
and
pictures
black.
of it on Facebook. That's about it.
We've seen the Cardinal and the Nobler.
Yeah, that's the
I haven't
Cardinal.
seen it.
So this is the last thing I want to show you is that if you wonder how I hold the nose in place, you see that there's a the female piece inside of it,
I see that.
and it fits inside this hole here, right? It's flush with it. It has threads on the outside of it, so it has a good bite, on a glue joint, and
Wow.
you have like a carbon fiber cup on the outside of it that's glued on right on the outside skin
I see.
of the
Very, yeah,
fuselage.
very impressive.
So this is a very hard point right here.
Yeah, very stout.
And yeah, and really, it's like as fast as and hard I can possibly corner this plane. I never had any issues with this setup here. So
Amazing.
yeah. So right now I have these pins that align the two halves as they come together, and it's also alignment. So that's how it works, and that's
Amazing.
the landing gear block right now. So the gears just plug in from the side, and I'm gonna have a little screw here in the center, and everything is 440 in this plane. All the screws. These are 440s.
Yep.
This is gonna be 440. They all use the 332nd Allen wrench, so that's why I make this tool here, because everything is from one tool, except
Okay.
for the screws that go here on a horizontal, which are like a Phillips head. I'm
Is that
sorry,
one of the
I
Jim
can't
Lee,
make them all the same.
is that one of the Jim Lee hex keys you got there?
No, this is something I made.
Uh,
So this is just I put some
Oh,
notches
you
in
made a
here, so
multi.
I can eyeball, when I'm locked or open, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So this will take the nose off, put it back on. It's going to take the wing off, put it back on. From here, I have I can tighten up all the screws, any screws that I have in there, because they're all 440 for 332nds. Also, it's in my arming plug, because my arming plug is like a battle bot kind of thing. It's like when you have two plates and you have a
Man,
screw that goes through both of them.
I've been
So when you
watching
tighten
battle
down,
bots all week. I recorded about 10 battle bots.
yeah. So they use it over there. So those switches are very much bulletproof, because you have a screw that basically bolts two plates together and makes the contact. And they don't fail in a battle bot fight. I don't think they're gonna fail in a normal flying either. So I'll take you with that. Yeah, and what I did, I just
Wow.
made two plates. It's super easy. You take two plates. You can make them like this. So you have a solder joint here and a solder joint over here. So what you do, you put the plates on top of each other. You drill 3 holes, right? And you tap them, all 3 of them. On one plate, you make clearance point holes. So just drill them, drill them, drill them. So now they're clearance. So you can put a screw through them and just put them together. So you solder the connection, you put some shrink tubing on top of it, right? And now you have the 2 plates are basically insulated, right? And you bolt them together against the side of the fuselage like this, right? And say the fuselage is here, use some plastic screws like that. So they're insulated, there's no contact in between them. And the shrink tubing goes over your leads from the battery and everything else. And after that, in the center, you have a single screw that is going to make the contact, and you use a steel screw over there. That's it.
Wow, impressive.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's how I made it. Basically, that's all there's to it. I'm not sure if you can see it here, but there we go again. I kind of like this tool because it's just custom for. Where is it? Can you see it? I'm gonna have to lower this light so I can shine the light inside here.
All right.
So do you see it there? There it is.
Yeah, I see it. Wow.
So those are actually 2 plates on top of each other with an insulator in between them.
Right.
And that's the arming screw. What is it? Yeah. So that's my arming plug.
Somehow I lost audio here.
So all I do is just I put the wrench in, open up. I have no contact now. And now when I get it tight, like this, now I have contact. And it's armed.
Very good.
So yeah, that's the method to my madness with this little tool here, because I keep it in my pocket and I have everything to my disposal. Quick and dirty. So
Yep.
I'm thinking
And
about
dirty.
I'm gonna make I'm thinking about just making like a little video or maybe picture tutorial how to make this stuff, because I think it's super simple, it's very easy, anybody can use it, anybody can do it, and it's practical, and you can do it probably in 15 minutes. So I think, and it's compact too. This is very flat.
I like the size of that compared to the regular plugs and stuff like I'm using. They work nice, but they just they're great big habernacles, and they're I mean, you really have to plan where they go and stuff like that. They're always in the way.
Yeah.
So
this is about 3/8 of an inch thick at maximum.
Yep.
And yeah, so and the only reason for which I use this screw here, this side screw, is because it has the same 3/32 head. So I'm keeping my one tool. I think if I would do it next, I'll probably just use a regular 440 screw and just use that. And if you have a 1/8 inch thickness on the fuselage sides for your whatever, balsa wood or something like that, the 440 screw is going to stay nice and flush and inside, and just looks very professional and nice and neat, right? And I just use this regular plastic screws with a taper head, flat screwdriver kind of thing, and these are the 2 screws that actually hold the plates together, right? So because they're plastic, they don't communicate, but this one. So as long as you have enough clearance on this screw here, it's not going to touch. And because it's threaded on the opposite side, it's not going to move around to make contact. So all you need to do just unscrew it a little bit and you're done.
Yep.
That's how this thing works.
Very good.
That's that. So yeah, this is the setup I have right now. I think in the future I'm going to put the ESC right here on top, right behind the motor. So I'm going to have a lot easier access from the wires.
Mhm.
And these are improvements that we plan to do on a next time around, because I really don't like it here,
Mhm.
simply because of these wires. They kind of look crappy. Anyways, so
Wow. Now, do you have any other access hatches on your plane? I know your nose comes off, but do you have any other access panels or anything?
nope, I don't need
Wow.
any other access panels. I have these access panels from the wing cutouts, and this is
Wow.
where I access to take the lead outs in and out, to do all the adjustments on the push rods, throws, expo, whatever I want to have adjustment. It's all here, centralized in this area. So with a screwdriver, 3/32 screwdriver, I have access to everything to loosen up, make adjustments, push rod length, uh, throws, move the bearings around, move the attachment point to get more throw or less throw on the elevator or the flaps. Everything is accessed from here.
Mhm.
And honestly, I don't need any other access. The only thing I'm doing, just maybe drill a couple of little holes here, and I have a longer screwdriver that reaches all the way back to lock this in place, to lock the control horns in place. And this
Mhm.
is just a one-time deal. It's a really, honestly, it's a pain in the ass to put it in there. Well, you do it one time and you're done, and that's it.
Mhm.
So that's so the way this thing works is that I have two wires that are like this, right? And they kind of come inside from the outside. They come inside, and
Right.
they connect on a control horn, right? And these wires have a flat there's ground on top of them, and the screws goes on that flat and locks in, so they don't rotate, because if it's cylindrical and cylindrical, even if you tighten up the screw real hard, in time they want to slip, they want to do all kind of crazy stuff. But if you put a flat on them, they stay there forever.
Wow.
We hope so. Anyways. so
Yep.
yeah, so that's the only thing that's I wish I had a hatch over there. Do I really need it? Not really. If I can do this one time and be done with it, not worry about it after that, I'm happy. So
Mhm.
other planes, to take the tail off, what do? You have a cutout over here. You remove this fin over, you bolt the elevator down, you have to connect, disconnect everything in there. Every time you take it apart, right? I don't have
Mhm.
to do anything. It's mine slides in, or so screw in, done.
Wow.
It's ready to go. Is it a pain in the butt to put this in the first time? Yes. It's a one-time deal, and it's a little bit of trial and error over there, and go by the touch, because you can't see jack in there.
Mhm.
But eventually you get it done, and once you get it done, it's easy to do. So from that point on, that's sometimes you have to bite the bullet to make
That's
things work.
impressive.
But yeah, after that, I don't have to do anything over here, because if you want to adjust the throw in the elevator, all the adjustment is done on this other end, where it's
Mhm.
super easy to have access to it.
Mhm.
And that's kind of so as I was thinking more and more about the project, I was like, okay, what's the best way to do it? What's the easiest way? Like, what's practical, what's not practical? And actually it took me a few years to figure out those locking mechanisms, until I saw the IKEA furniture stuff. But then I was looking at the IKEA stuff, and I said, man, this is kind of weak, because they always break. I'm sure you all have furniture like that, and those locks just break sooner or later, right?
Right.
And I was looking at them. They have like a claw on one side. It's all double claw that kind of grabs things, right? But
Right.
because it's not supported on the other end, they like to break right here. Just,
Mhm.
these are gone. So I said that's not very good, right? So but I said when I made mine, I made it like a full barrel. It's supported all the way around. You probably noticed when I took it out and I showed it to you, the barrel is complete. There's no place on it that actually can has a. I mean, it does have a weak spot, right? But it's like a full circle, right? It's
Right.
nothing like floating in the air, just like unsupported or something like that.
Right.
So that's why I made the barrel continuous, right? So with a hole in the center, and because it's fully supported, it doesn't want to spread out. It doesn't want to do funny stuff in there. So far it's been fine. I don't have any. I took this nose in and out quite a few times because I've put quite a few flights on this plane, and the barrel is still in one piece. It's not. It didn't wear out. It operates smoothly, just as the first time when I did it, and I never had to adjust any of the pins, anything on it. So it kind of tells me it's consistent and stays there, and it's good, and it's so far it's been trouble free. And I use the same thing on the wings,
Mhm.
and yeah. After I made the first piece, I assemble it, and I uh, assemble like this. I just hooked it up on something on the ceiling, and I did pull-ups on it, and I did that on one of them only. So and
Wow.
the first one was made out of the 6061 T6 material,
Right.
and the new ones, the new barrels. I showed it to you, right? Yeah, the
Yeah, I saw it.
the new barrel is made with 7075 T6, which is about 40% stronger. So
Oh, okay. I'm gonna
if
ask you
the
that next. So, thank
if
you.
the weak one can hold 190 pounds of my big fat ass, imagine once this 40% stronger, how much it can hold. So
Yeah.
and I was also looking at the balsa cross section and what we typically use a quarter inch by quarter inch balsa, right? And I was trying to see what's the failure point of that thing. It's just and it's about it was about 100 pounds or something like that.
Yeah, I'm coming soon too.
And I'm like 3 times
I'll get it.
better than that, or 2.5 times better than that at the minimum. And that's because it didn't break, and I don't know what the breaking point is. This probably has even more, you know, a lot more
Yeah.
in reserve there. Because usually these screws can hold like hundreds of pounds, just one of them. So
Yep.
I think it's gonna be fine.
I think so.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
So
Well, guys, I'm gonna have to call it a night.
mhm.
So we'll see you next time.
All
Gotta get
right.
some
All right.
sleep.
Hey, good luck with your contest this weekend.
Yeah.
Hope you get to
No,
fly.
thank you very much.
Say hi to
Yeah, I
Naomi
hope I do
from
too.
us,
We'll
and
see how it goes. I'm
Indeed.
sure I'll fly a couple of events anyway.
Okay.
Okay. Thanks,
yeah.
guys. Good to see you.
Hey, take care. Good
Take care,
luck.
Len.
Yeah, thanks very much. Hopefully be on Monday.
So yeah, Sparky was asking me about some things about the designs and stuff like that, and I said, I like the way it flies so far. I have no complaints, absolutely zero complaints about the way it flies. We kind of hit it correct on almost just about everything we've made, just slightly little. If I was to change anything on it, we are doing it right now. We're making a mold for the outboard wing. A dedicated mold for that is going to be a little bit shorter. Since we have the mold for that, we're going to also make the mold for the horizontal while we are at it. It just makes sense. And another change that I want to make is I want to be able to move the battery forward to change the CG a little bit. So So because of that, we changed a couple of panels in there because this first former in the front changed a little bit. The one in the middle changed a little bit. So minor changes. So we don't have anything major right now that we are really considering. Say like we really struck out on that one, or just horrible idea, or we should never do that again. We never had that.
That's great.
So
Hey, Sparky, I have a question for you, Sparky.
Yeah.
When I got off the phone with you earlier, did I hear you correctly that if the plane is turning quicker on outsides, to have the engine have positive attitude? Is that right? Have the engine, or the other way?
It's probably going to be pointed up. If it's turning quick on the outsides, it's probably going to be pointed up.
You know, my thinking is that it would be quicker on the insides if the engine's pointing up, but it works in opposite, huh?
Opposite reaction.
think about the flaps position. If it turns faster inside, your flaps are probably a little bit low because there you have more lift. So it's going to give you more lift on the inside and less lift on the outside. And if you're turning faster on the outside, then your flaps are a little bit high. And in turn, that's what Sparky said, you know. And he said he noticed it last year, and I started thinking about it. I looked at it, and I started to adjust my inside to outside, and now the plane flies level and turns equal too. So he was right.
Okay, on a real airplane, Charles, when they want the airplane to take off, let me go back. A real airplane has the nose or the engine pointed down, so it's lifting up. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So if it's lifting up, if it's pointed up, it's going to turn outside faster.
Okay. I'm with you. I heard you say that when I got the phone. I was like, did I hear him say that? And I was just like, want to make sure. And okay, cool. I understand. That's interesting. It works opposite.
Why can't I get that stupid thing to open up? Computer is giving me a fit.
Well, you heard Rusty. Choke that data out of it.
I'm going to choke the crap out of this thing here in a minute.
That's it.
So Charles, like you were saying, when I start to play with it, I start to discover things, right? With this adjustment, being able to adjust the push rods, right? I found that's almost probably something that would be super, super nice to have just about on any plane that you will ever make.
Clips, that's where
because you can just fine tune it just so well after that.
Right.
And just
open project, desktop.
And that's the access above the flap horn we talked about last time?
Both of them. Or at least the flaps to the elevator.
I have an access for the adjustment of the flaps to the elevator push rod, but for me that doesn't give satisfactory results. When I try to adjust for a quicker turning plane on outsides, for example, when I adjust the flap horn, it induces some other things that I don't like. So it's like dissatisfied with that solution. I don't think it's a solution at all.
To me, that was the made. Yeah, to me, it made all the difference. So, to be honest, but you need to realize something is that if it turns super fast on the inside and slower on the outside, as you start to do adjustments over there, you kind of rob Peter to pay Paul, right? So wherever it was fast is going to be softer. Wherever it was softer is going to be faster. But the idea is just to get them equal. Now, if you want a little bit more turn overall, then obviously you need a little bit more throw on it.
I want that thing.
Right.
But that can be easily done at the handle.
Right.
So I think the handle is the easiest play. But when you build it, what I think when you build it, uh, and you set up your bell crank and the push rod from the bell crank to the flaps. Move the bell crank, say 15, 20 degrees in one direction, and measure how much deflection you have on the flaps.
Right.
And 15, 20 degrees opposite direction, measure it again, and kind of make sure that they're equal, right? Your
Right.
bell crank might not end up in a neutral position, might be biased one way or the other, and that's okay. It's fine. It doesn't matter because
Interesting.
yeah,
Because every plane I've built, I've had the bell crank. I make sure that it is, forward and aft, and it's basically in line with the fuselage.
yeah, but they might not yield that equal travel on the flaps up and down.
Yeah,
So
I
what's important is that for the same angle deflection on the bell crank, you have the um, same deflection on your flaps, right?
okay. I'll do that. That's great suggestion.
It doesn't matter if it's off a little bit. I mean, it just really doesn't matter over there. I don't think so. Geometrically, if you look at from geometry point of view, as long as you have the equal angle on the bell crank means equal movement on your hand, right?
Right.
And for equal movement on your hand, you get equal travel up and down on the flaps, right?
Right.
So they're fairly centered over there, right? And then from the flaps to the elevator push rod, you fine tune it so it gets equal turn.
Yeah. I found better success as far as making adjustment. I did this on my Vector. I started to adjust the push rod from the bell crank to the flap, and that worked much better than any adjustment I did from the flap to the elevator.
Yeah. Well, that's because probably this exactly what I was talking to you about. Your neutral position on your bell crank was not correct to give you equal up and down on the flaps.
Right. Exactly. Yeah,
Right.
I think that's the error of my ways. I really do think so
Yeah. So
because it's happened 3 times.
so if you get equal angle on a bell crank with equal deflection on the flaps, right?
Right.
Well, two.
You're you're good over there. But now,
All right.
yeah,
Two.
in the future, if you wanna adjust the turn rate, if you still don't get your turn rate, it's because your flaps in the elevator needs to be biased a little bit, and it happens.
Okay.
Um, and I was thinking about some people are talking about these positive incidents on the elevator, right? And I was like, why in the world would they make any sense, right? And the only thing that makes sense is because the airflow around the wing kind of goes like this and sinks in, right? It kind of converges, right? So it means the airflow over your elevator is not in this direction, it comes down a little bit. So if your elevator is pointing horizontal, it always sees this pushing down on it, right? Kind of an action. Uh,
Okay.
and that kind of makes sense to me. So by moving it up, it's in line with the flow.
Now the air coming over on top of the wing is moving faster than the air underneath the wing.
No,
Is that
it
right?
depends on the angle of attack.
Yes,
Okay.
but it's so small in our plane. I mean, we do have you must have some angle of attack to create lift to hold the plane in the air, right?
You're
Correct?
telling me that makes sense.
Yeah, you have to. It's like when you fly inverted, you still have a little bit of angle of attack over there. Because if you fly level, then you have zero angle of attack, you have zero lift. The plane is going to fall out of the sky slowly, but you know, it just makes sense, right? But
Yeah.
but because of that, you always have this. Uh, but if you have the elevator here and the wing is down here, right? And
Right.
if you think the air, the flow of the air kind of goes on top of the wing, converges down, right? And from
Right.
here it goes like that. But look at the top where the elevator is. It always goes down a little bit, right?
Right.
And from the bottom kind of goes up a little bit. They kind of meet together. But because the elevator is on this flow, they kind of goes down a little bit. I
All
think
right.
that's why people put a little bit of a positive angle on the elevator.
Don't
You know
do
what?
that.
what I heard Tryon is that negative incidence is so bad that they put a little positive to make sure
Hmm.
that they have no negative or no down incidents. So that's what I've heard.
Yeah.
They absolutely make sure there's no negative is that they make sure they have positive.
Hmm.
Zero. That's what you want. Zero.
But I agree with Sparky. I think you should put it at 0 because when you fly inverted, then what you do, you just rub period to pay pole. If it's good on one side, it's going to be bad on the other side. And I think this is the case when people are complaining. They say it tracks in normal flight, it doesn't track inverted. Well, it should track both ways, right? But I think that's why it doesn't track in one direction; it tracks in the other direction.
Yeah. My biggest problem with my Olympic is that it just turns so much quicker on outside. I mean, it's a nice, smooth, quick corner on outsides, and then on inside, it's kind of lazy.
Hmm. Your flaps is up, so bring them down a little bit, or so make your push rod a little bit longer.
Yeah, I did that, but I don't really like the outcome. I mean, I did a little bit, and then that wasn't enough. Did a little bit more, a little bit better, but then I noticed I did lose a little bit of something when I'm landing the plane. When the power shuts off, I dead stick it.
Hmm.
I don't
Yeah.
like how it comes in.
Yeah.
It drags the tail more than it did before.
You know what? Let's think about it a little bit, okay? It can be one of the two things. It's either your bell crank for equal, nice kitty over there. uh, if it's on your bell crank, maybe your bell crank is not positioned to give you equal throw up and down. And if that's the case, then you kind of you have to adjust the push rod from the flaps to the bell crank. But if you cannot see it,
I'm tempted to cut my turtle deck so I can get to the push rod coming from the bell crank to the flap horn, so I can adjust that.
Mm-hmm.
Do they move equally, Charles, in both directions?
Say it again?
Do they move equally in both directions?
I'll check.
That's hard to check now because you cannot see anything in there unless you do an X-ray to it.
You can see whether they move equally in both directions by putting a mark on the fuselage. If it moves up a half an inch and it moves down a half an inch, that's pretty equal.
Obviously it's easy to check it on the fuselage, but how do you know how much angle did the bell crank deflect? You cannot see it. How are you going to see that?
I don't think you're sense enough to feel that if it's off a little.
Yeah.
I think it's an incidence problem with the engine, but whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can't wait to verify that, Sparky. I think I hope you're right, because the guy that built the plane, I mean, he's not as prolific of a builder as you, but I like to think he built it okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, mistakes happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why the best plane is the one you build yourself.
That's why I'm building my plane, man.
Mm-hmm.
So I was telling that Sparky how unhappy I am with all my airplanes after flying this Junar. I'm like, after flying this plane, I can't really tolerate my planes.
Uh-huh.
So I'm motivated to build this plane.
Uh-huh. I got it. Yeah.
So you can live with something until you know something's better.
Yeah.
If you don't know or don't experience something better, then you can live with it. You just deal with it.
Yeah. Who was? Yeah. Yeah. Danny Banjak has quite a nice plane, right? It flies good, right?
That Raven?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
But when he flew my plane, he goes like, oh, he goes like, he was blown away, I was like, and that's pretty much the general impression I get on every single one.
I wish I'd have to leave Friday so I could have flown your plane, because I know you offered it to me,
Mm-hmm.
and Sparky could have vouched for me. I won't crash your plane.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and probably would be a good time because it was windy that day.
Yeah, it would have been very interesting.
Yeah. So funny thing is when I flew it in what was it, days before, We were flying 12 to 15 or so, somewhere over there, and I was still flying 5.4, 5.5 lap time, and no issues anywhere, line tension or anything like that. So it just was just nice and composed and
You
easy.
said 5.4, 5.5 lap times. You said,
Yep,
wow, wow,
yep, and it
it's my dream.
stays on the lines. Yeah, yeah. And the thing is, like, it stays on the lines. You know, even in those winds, there's no issues anywhere. You know, just and
You know, you must feel like you're cheating.
uh, honestly, it feels like that. You know, because it's so, Charles, it's so easy to fly. You know, everybody's gonna say like, yeah, you're biased because it's your plane and you know it and stuff like that. You're full of shit, right? And I understand that, and that's why I said, if you think I'm full of shit, just fly the plane, see for
Right,
yourself, right? And
right.
so far, anybody that flew it and put their hands on it, it's like the first comment that comes is like, I can get used to this. Some of us, some of our Fred Krueger flew it when I was in Chicago and said that, you know, Chris Rudd should have flown this at the Worlds. Uh, Comments. Danny couldn't get the smile off his face. You know, he was like, you know, I can get used to this. This is kind of the general comment we get almost all the
Wow.
time.
Yeah.
I can get used to this. Um, who was here at the in Georgia? Who was I forgot his name. I forgot. He has a blue plane, uh, a blue plane that is like a warplane. Looks like
I
a
mean, Joe Gilbert.
Joe Gilbert. Joe Gilbert was flying and it was like woohoo. He goes like woohoo. And he said, I don't know what you did on that plane, but whatever you did on it, he said it's just like the combination of things that are in it. It's just it's there. And he was
Wow.
that was his comment. You know, pretty much he was going like wow. You know, and.
Wow.
And he flew it and he started, you know, he did an hourglass and immediately after they put another hourglass right back behind it, you know, just try to hit it as hard as he can, and the plane is just like that's
Wow.
it.
That's amazing.
And this is the
I think,
typical comments that others get.
wow. I think Joe Gilbert's from Oklahoma,
Hmm. Yeah,
Tulsa, Oklahoma.
yeah, I don't know exactly where he lives at, but you know, I was over there and said, hey, you want to fly that, go ahead, you know, grab the handle, and he flew it, boom, right, you know.
Amazing. I wish I could have flown it.
He starts with, I haven't had one person that said like his plane is a piece of shit or something like that. Derek Barry flew it, Fitzgerald flew it, and you know, yeah, what can I say? I haven't had
Wow.
one bad comment yet from anybody. And well, like I said, you know, we got a little bit lucky or whatever. Uh, but it works. It works great. It just works great. I mean, it's just a cute. I can't be happier. Yeah, I had planes in the past that I, you know, was trying to push them through the square eight, and you know they were pretty nice planes, right? But with this one, I can do a square eight in 20 degrees worth of elevation, and it's gonna stay there. And then I can do out of that square eight, I can jump into an hourglass if I want to. It's just,
Wow.
it's something.
Now,
Yeah.
would you say your controls are fast, or would you say your controls are slow?
Uh, you have both worlds. It's in the center is very soft, nice and composed, and easy to do a loop with and stuff like that. But if you move your hand like that, they accelerate and they give you the corner. So the corner, I can set up the corner so much faster than what I have right now. But even with what I have right now, I have a very, very hard time trying to keep track of the plane in those attitudes because it's so fast in a corner. I can't I can't do it just perfect every single time because it's just too fast for me. Yeah,
So
it's-
are you saying you have like an exponential setup in your control somehow?
yes.
Or I came into the conversation late, but that's where I was.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's how. I have a lot of expo in my controls. But yes, around the center, the plane just tracks nicely, stuff like that. And once you just push it, it just boom, changes, and it changes so fast. It's like if I give it full, if I get to its full potential, it probably does this. Gone. It's already turned.
Wow, it's amazing. And it sounds like it turns flat. It comes out of the turn and doesn't bounce or bobble or anything, right? Just
No,
comes out and stops.
it's but my problem is it turns so fast that sometimes I stop here, sometimes a little bit past. I'm
Okay. Okay.
kind of a little bit off, right? Because
Right.
it's so fast. I mean, my brain and my eyes can't keep up with it. That's my problem. Not at the plane. The plane can do so much more. Even right now, I think I'm running about 70% of its corner ability, if that.
And Sparky was telling me to lengthen my arms a little bit on the handle when it does that. You can't get back quick enough. Just lengthen the arms a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, just like what I'm gonna do, I think I'm gonna fly like this for a while and see if I can get used to it and stuff like that. But if I can't keep up with it in the future, so I just gonna have to slow it down. Yeah, so that's something I have to live with because it's not the plane, it's me.
Yeah.
It's as I said, the plane's so far better than what I can possibly do that it's just yeah. When Derek flew it, said, "Man, I put 5 flights on that plane. I'm going to be competitive on it." Yeah. So yeah, when
Wow.
actually when Derek was flying it and he put a couple of flights on it, he said that he was trying to go hard on it and stuff like that, but he has he was overshooting every corner. He was overshooting it because
You know what makes it perform so well?
Mm.
It's weight. It's light. That's what makes it perform well. You don't need exponential control for that. You just need lightweight. How much does it weigh?
60 right now.
Yeah, that's right in there.
60 at 710 square inches.
Yeah, I'm 700 squares and 58 ounces. You can't
Yeah.
beat that.
Yeah.
What plane is this?
Revolutions.
All right, here.
It's Revolutions. It's my plane. Yeah, I think it's a combination of things. Spark it's like the whole design concept of the whole plane is different from
What I'm telling
anything
you,
else.
is those guys that are flying it, they're going, wow, this is great fun because they never flew an airplane that light.
I resemble that, Mark.
What, Charles?
I said I resemble that remark.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, possible, but I'm still at 60 ounces. What are they? Some other people make like what 64-ounce plane.
70 and 4 ounces is a lot. 2 ounces is a lot, but they're usually in the 70s. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but if you look at the typical stunt design, Pattern Masters type design. If you look at my plane, they have nothing in common.
Oh yeah, I know. Don't thank God for that. Pattern Master, that Greenaway technology, the wing is way too thick.
Mm-hmm. Even if you look at the Randy Smith design at the SVs, still don't have nothing in common with mine. You'll be hard pressed to find any similarities in between them. I'm running a lot thinner airfoil overall on a wing.
Okay.
the moments, the position of stuff in it are completely different.
What's the chord of the wing? 10 inches? 10 and a quarter?
10 inches and
Pretty standard. Okay, how thick is the wing? 2 inches? 2 and a quarter?
2 1/8.
2 and an eighth? Same as mine. I mean, pretty standard numbers. You got to stick around the parameters in order to make it work.
Yeah, the tips are about an inch and change on mine.
Yeah, double taper.
The tips are very thin on mine.
Have you got the plane there?
Huh?
Have you got the plane right there?
Yeah.
Can you hold it up? I don't think I've ever seen it.
And the elevator. Look at that.
No, that looks like composite. Is that right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And I think the distance from here to here, 22.5 inches or so.
Wow.
So the horizontal is much further back. Another thing I've done with the horizontal, I moved it up a little bit. So from the normal position.
Above the
and
wing, yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. And it has a little bit of a dihedral to put it in clean air. To fly it in clean air. So that's what gives you the nice tracking and very, very solid authority on anything when I try to do aerobatics with it. And so that's the horizontal on a design. And yeah, so that's
very nice.
Yeah. So yeah, and use just to get an idea, just the fuselage. This is the new fuselage I have on new plane. Anyways.
Is that electric or glow?
Electric.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
With the chin snorkel, it looked like glow, but then I thought I could see slots in your spinner, so then I thought, well, maybe it's electric.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is electric. The whole plane, it's very clean aerodynamic. I don't have a whole lot of drag on it. I'm using this is a 60-ounce plane. I'm flying 5.5 minutes per flight, flying around 5.4, 5.5 second lap time. And I use roughly somewhere in between 1200 milliamps to 1400 milliamps, somewhere over there, 14.5 at the most. And that's only if I just practice and I do maneuver after maneuver after maneuver without putting level laps or something like that. So
how many cell batteries?
6S.
Okay.
Well, that's interesting. I need to mention this for Rusty. The Jitsi.org software only streams for 2 hours and then it cuts off. You have to restart the stream.
Interesting. So yeah. I think in the future planes is going to be even lighter than this one, so they might be too light, but that's okay.
No such thing.
We can always add ballast to it if we have to.
Ask Bob Hunt if there's ever been a airplane too light.
Yeah, I mean, just we can build these planes in probably 53 ounces easy. If we really are fanatic about it and we want to go there, I mean, yeah, I could probably make it 53 ounces, 52 ounces at 710 square inches, and that's ready to fly with a battery on board. So
Billy weight, that's good.
Yeah, but even at 60, it flies amazing. So I'm not hurting for anything. I'm not hurting for drive for the motor. After you do the change direction, the drive to get to the next side, I'm not hurting for any of that. corner for sure. It has more corner than I can handle. Track's nice. I want to track a little bit better, but overall I think it's pretty awesome as is. So, like I said, you should fly it. Try it out.
Yep.
See what you
Miss
think.
my chance.
I'm gonna be in. We're probably gonna meet each other somewhere.
So how do you do the composite setup there? I'm sure you've explained that 100 times, but I haven't heard.
Composite. I use hollow molding techniques, in which you mold the two halves, and then you take the two molds and you just put them together.
Okay.
And that's when you make. Well, that's how I make the wings and the horizontal and the fuselage and the nose actually. And pretty much when you do the two halves, you vacuum bag it. When I make my wings and my horizontal and stuff like that, I make everything in one shot. That
Is it
means the
male-
wing and the flaps are in one shot.
Is it a male, female, male mold?
No, just the female mold, both of them.
So how do you press it down in there to hold it in the mold without a nail to push it down?
Vacuum bag. So you put the material in a mold, then you put in a vacuum bag, and the vacuum just pushes everything against the mold.
So you're using a fly cloth to suck the resin out, or are you in
I don't need that.
huh?
I do not need that.
So how do you get the excess resin out of it?
The excess resin, I get it out when I lay the material. I put some paper towels on top of it, and I have a hard roller. Then I just push it, press it in, and suck it out. We also use a little bit of vacuum. We put in a vacuum bag for like 30 seconds with paper towels on top of it, and that will remove most of the excess resin out of the layout. And that's all you need. If you do that, you don't need to put pill ply. You don't need to do any of the stuff. So that's how we do it.
So when you,
With our material, go ahead.
So when you end up with your two wing halves, do you put a couple of ribs in there, or false ribs, or anything for structure support, or?
Yes, we use some 1/4 of an inch thickness foam, and we cut like 3 ribs inside the wing, and like a center spar kind of thing with
What's
steel
the
foam.
spar made out of?
Huh?
What is the spar made out of?
Foam. Just 1/4 inch foam.
Foam board or polystyrene?
Oh, wait a second. The question was the spar. No, I'm talking about the structure inside the wing. The spar itself, it's it's carbon fiber unidirectional.
How
And
thick?
it's on the outside of the wing in a layout.
How thick is that spar?
It's about 4/1000 of an inch thick.
And it stands up and down, sheer width, top to bottom half, or what?
No, we're talking spar here. Spar
Right.
is.
Yeah, hold the wing up so I can look down inside it. Oh, you got it off.
Yeah, let me get the other wing.
I think when he's talking about the spar, he's talking about a reinforcement that's attached directly to the inside skin. And I think he just reuses the foam ribs to keep the top and bottom skins from touching each other. So it's very, but there's no the crushing member, what we would think of as a spar and stuff like that. I don't know that it really has one at all in it. It just something that just keeps the skin separated. So, but it's just basically, I think, a layer of that. That 4/1000 he's talking about is just a layer of the unidirectional carbon right on the inside surface. So,
like a C tube wing would be top and bottom. quarter-inch top and bottom only at 4,000, right?
Hmm. Yeah, I don't think he has. I don't think he has. I guess I'm curious for him to show it here, but I'm not sure he has any kind of a web in there at all to speak of, or structural.
You
Not.
remember D. Rice's article on how he was doing a composite wing with a foam wing where he put the, ribs in tow and then
Hmm.
vacuum bag it and then cut out all the foam.
Yeah,
Have you ever seen that?
I actually used to do something like that, but not in tow. Okay, he's back. So
Okay. Good.
Okay, so just to answer some questions here. Okay, so this is the wing.
What is that spar, top and bottom? That's foam?
Yes, just foam.
Okay.
It's just quarter-inch foam. It's just a spacer. It stops it from squishing like this. That's all. But
Right.
that's not the spar. The spar, it's this. Do you see that?
No.
Can you see like this blade over here?
No. Can't see it.
So
Oh,
probably
yeah. Looks like tape.
There you can see it.
you see that?
That's it.
That's the actual spar. Okay, so that's a layer of unidirectional carbon that's about 7/8 at the root and about 1/2 inch on the tip. And the thickness of carbon, if you do it side-by-side comparison with a piece of balsa wood, if I make the piece of balsa wood with the same cross section about 2 inches tall, that's how strong that thing is. So basically my spar, it's 7/8. If you think about a piece of balsa, 7/8 at the root and 1/2 inch in the tip, that's 2 inches tall. That's the equivalent strength that I have in a spar.
Wow.
So actually, if you look in flight, my wing doesn't do this at all. It's just rock solid. It's no torsion to it either. It's extremely rigid. The flaps is also very rigid. It's no flexing, none of that stuff. So because of this rigidity, I think that's what makes it so good. In addition to the other qualities that it has, I think rigidity is very critical, especially in a wing. The idea is that if the wing does this when you do a loop, what does it do? It kind of comes in on you, right? Okay, makes sense? So
Yeah.
if the wing does this and that under load, it always if it's inside, it comes towards you. If it's outside, it still comes towards you. So you lose line tension because of that. So anyways, yeah, and yeah, that's kind of equivalent that. So the spar material in it is the equivalent of just some insane amount of, even if you make a wing of balsa wood, probably balsa from top to bottom in one piece, you still don't have the strength that I have in here. So so that's that. So this panel for the half of the wing weighs about 135 grams, which is about 4.5 ounces or so. But I have the flaps, the hinge it's in there, the hard points are attached. It's basically finished. Let's see.
Wow.
There's that smiling face. That's it.
cheesy.
I see it reflection.
How much does that center section weigh? The bell crank in the center section.
The bell crank in the center section.
Yeah, the connecting spot in the wing. When you're figuring a wing out, you got to figure the bell crank and the lead outs and that center section. What does that hardware weigh?
You mean this stuff too?
Yeah.
Probably adds another
ounce and a half.
Okay. And the bell crank, is that included bell crank?
That's with the bell crank and everything else. And I'm a little bit heavy right now on that on the whole system, simply because I'm not sure what I really like. As soon as I find out what I really like, I can make dedicated components that are set to just that. So I don't have any extra screws for adjustability, none of that adjustability. It's all out the window. Because at that point, I know exactly what I want. So
well,
I can knock out another ounce or so out of it easily. But the whole plane, I can make the whole plane in a 52-ounce range, easy.
You know what your wing weighs?
Yeah, if you look at the fuselage, the nose, the two wings, the two elevators, minus the hardware inside of it.
I gotta include that because that's what holds it together.
Yeah,
I just know what does the wing weigh? I got you here at 12 ounces, so that's about what a balsa wing weighs finished.
Okay, mine it's 9.5 plus the 10 ounces maybe.
What is minus 9.5? What do you mean? What's that mean?
My whole wing is 9.5, but that's we were talking flaps and everything.
Right. I got you here at 12.
I think he might have double counted the center joint. That's there's only one of those. If he has 4.5 in each panel, that's 9. If it's an ounce and a half in the center, that's 10 and a half tops is what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
And that is also ready to fly weight too. That's covered and decorated and everything else. So
with hinge installed and hardware, hard points for take apart, lead out guides, structure inside the wing, everything.
All right, guys, I got to bail out. I will see you next week. So have fun, everybody, and it's good seeing you all. But take care.
We're gonna shut it down.
All right, yeah, I'll try not to spend any more money here. So take care, everybody.
Take care.
Yeah.
Thanks
Charles.
everybody for watching. We'll see you again on Monday night. Hopefully Rusty will be your host again. I'm sure he'll be feeling better. And thanks for sharing, Thorn.
You're welcome.
All right, guys. Fairways, tight lines. See you.
All right.
All right, good night. So, Charles, did you take a picture of that plane, of the plans?